Hello everyone. Hope you are able to see my screen. I have never done this before, so I'm not very acquainted with this process. So let us see how this goes. Um, Let me. Okay, I hope you are able to see the things in a better way now. Hello everyone. Hope you are able to see my screen. So I'm not sure you are able to see my screen well. Unfortunately, I even don't know how to look into the comments. I did not prepare for that part. But let's quickly start and please let me know what do you feel and all that. Currently, I think there are two people who are there who are watching this, but I still can't figure out whether you are commenting or not. If you feel something, please let me know your comments. Okay, first, before going into any of these details, I would like to briefly talk about why I picked up this topic and what I'm going to tell in this topic. Okay, first let's see what is my intention behind making this a topic. So, most of the time we do some analysis after we have inserted the data or after we have created the data sets we want, right? Now let me quickly run this live name so that I can do some analysis on the data sets which I have created previously. Now I have dataset mylib.class1, and here the goal is to simply see how many males are there and how many females are there. So I'm simply using proc and I'm using a table statement to see how many males are there, how many females are there. Now let me quickly run this proc and see what's happening in here. So if you see the result in the proc you can see that I have 5F, 7M in capital letters, small letters I have F and M. So what is this? Here I have a data quality problem. What does that mean? Somebody has inserted the data in this table which has both capital F and small f, capital M and small m. Because of this, I cannot accurately calculate how many F's are there, how many M's are there. This is a rather very simple example. If we talk about a bigger example where there are more categories than F and M, then we have a bigger problem. So this is the one data quality problem we have just discussed. Say we are talking about a business. You have some categories defined in a wrong way, then you will get all wrong results and your reporting also will go wrong. Now I want to discuss about another topic in this wherein we are talking about nulls. Here I have another data set which is mylib.class2, and here I am running this proc SQL. Here if you see, I wanted to look into some names and wanted to do some analysis, but here you can see that many of the names are null. So I can't do proper analysis when I have nulls, right? Before even going into our today's topic, we are just looking into what are the simple data quality problems we can face. And now I want to do quickly check how many missing values are there. And if I run the code for missing values, you can see that we have lot of missing values in the name. And the code is very simple. All I have added is a where clause for this select statement. So here I have a problem. Now I can't do proper analysis. Here I am picking up very simple examples, but if you talk about in the real time, you may have data sets in which there was supposed to be very important information, but by mistake or by a process you have inserted a lot of null values, right? So these kind of things will create a problem. Now I want to talk about one more category, that is of duplicates. Duplicates are often a very big problem. And here I am talking about another data set, mylib.class3. If you see here, I have Alfred in the 2 rows. If you see about it, the age is different in both the rows. So which one is the real observation which I have to do some analysis on? I just can't do any kind of analysis. So duplicates, missing values, and values which we don't think should be there are there. These are three major problems. One of the other problem today I'm not going to discuss, that is about primary key and foreign key, but I will talk about these three and how to avoid them using integrity constraints. Hope everything is clear. I have not seen any comments yet, but let's go ahead and discuss more. For this, I will go into my PowerPoint presentation and discuss it. So many a times we try to do some data analysis, especially we do this data analysis after we have inserted the data. But when we do that way, we are kind of doing something which we could have prevented. What do I mean by that? By using simple integrity constraints, we can implement this data validation rules. Here, those are check, not null, unique, and primary key. I'm not going to talk about the primary key today, but we are going to talk about 4 important integrity constraints. They are check, not null, unique. By using these 3, we can simply avoid not getting the bad data or not getting the data we want, or not inserting null values, or not getting a duplicate value. So I hope all of you have some knowledge on how to create a table in proc SQL. It is simple. In proc SQL, you can create table by create table statement followed by the table name, and then we will give our variable names followed by its attributes. For name, the attribute is car20. For age, it is num. For sex, we are saying car10. These are our variable names. Now, what I could simply do here is add a constraint. The integrity constraint I can simply add at the end like this, wherein I'm giving the name, wherein I'm giving using the constraint keyword followed by name of the constraint. Here I have given check underscore age. This could be anything. So we start with the constraint, and then we are saying the constraint name, and then we are telling what is the constraint we want to give. Here my constraint is check, means I want to check, or I want to say that I don't want data for age which is less than 1 and greater than 100. So I'm arbitrarily setting a particular value. Generally, age less than 1 does not make any sense, or age negative age does not make any sense. By setting up this constraint, we are telling table, please do not accept any values which are not this in range. We can make this check constraint as robust as possible. And now let us quickly run this code in SAS Studio. Hope you are following along. Does anybody has any questions to ask? Please feel free to comment. I am more than ready to answer. Anybody has any questions or any doubts you want to ask? Okay, I assume you guys have no questions or doubts. Let us quickly run this code and let's try to see how all of this goes. Now, as I said, by simply putting constraint, we can avoid we can avoid the values which we don't want to. First, I'm going to create my table, and here the name of the table is test. And here I have created my empty table, and I'm going to insert values into this table. That is simply done by insert into statement and by values. Here I'm inserting all the values required for this table: name, age, and sex. The middle one is age. And if you see here in the last two statements which I am using, I am inserting -2 and 200. We all know that these ages are not correct. And as I have done the check constraint on this, it will not allow me to insert these records. Now let's run this code. Now you can see that it has allowed me to insert first two rows, but it did not allow me to insert the remaining rows. So this is kind of powerful. Now we have already avoided getting the wrong data into our table. Let us quickly look into what are the records in this table by using simple select statement. Now you can see that we have inserted only two records and our data is clean. And from the log earlier, you can see that it also tells what are the records which were not allowed into. So you can go ahead and you can fix it, and then that fixes our problem. And here let us go and look into another constraint which is not null, which will allow us to not insert null values. Now let us quickly run this code. Now here I am using not null constraint. So not null constraint, if you look in here, we have given constraint in a special line, and then we are saying check and do not allow these records. In the same fashion, not null we don't have to tell at the end, but immediately after the variable name we can say not null. And this will not allow us to insert any missing values. Now let me quickly run this and see what is happening in here. Here I am creating new table test1, and I am going to insert A, B, C and also a missing value. Now let me also quickly run something here. Let me put quit for each one of them separately, which initially I had, but I changed it. So I want to run one after another separately. Okay, I think I'm set now. Let me quickly run this. Here I am creating my table and here I have set not null. So even though this topic is a super simple topic, what I wanted to tell from this whole of this topic is to show that we have integrity constraints we can keep on a table, and then whenever people load or append their data, they cannot append the data which we do not want to enter into. For example, if you see here in this data set, we have inserted A, B and C, and here you can see that we did not, or we were not able to insert the data which has missing value for the column which we do not want the data to get inserted into. Here, if you see here, we were trying to insert a missing value into name variable, but as the name variable has a not null constraint, we were not able to insert into. Any questions? Okay. Looks like we are going fine. Let's go ahead and look into another constraint, and then in another 5 minutes or so I will wrap it up. If you have any questions, I can answer it. So not null constraint, we can either give it next to the variable name itself, or we can also define after all the variables by using the constraint keyword and not null underscore con I have given here. Whenever we define constraint, what we have to do is we have to give it a name, and then we have to tell what is the constraint here. And the constraint here is not null. The idea is not to tell about the syntax, but the idea is to give the information that we can do or we can avoid a lot of bad data getting into. In the same fashion, we can also give a unique constraint by using the unique keyword here. That is another important point. So here I am saying that name should be unique, which means that I cannot enter a duplicate value into this particular variable. Here, if you see, I have A, B, C, C. So I cannot insert A, B, C and C. So I can insert A, B, C, but if you see this last C is a duplicate, I cannot enter a duplicate value. If I enter a duplicate value, proc SQL is going to tell me that I have inserted a duplicate value and it will reject it. So in this fashion, I'm going to avoid duplicates getting into the data. If you think your data, you want a particular variable to have a unique value, you need to just add a unique keyword here. So here I am showing you in proc SQL, but you can do the same thing by using proc datasets, and then you can append the data by using simple base as, not you don't have to go to proc SQL also. But the idea what I wanted to tell is we have things like this which we can use. Now let us go ahead and try this. Here I'm creating a new data set and I'm saying test3, and I'm going to insert into this table the values I want to. And here I'm trying to insert a duplicate value in the table which has unique for the name. Obviously, this is going to be rejected and we are going to be having only 3 rows. Now let me quickly do few things before let me add proc and proc here. And also let me add quit. Sorry to do this now. I thought I have fixed all of this, but apparently I have not. Okay, I'm creating my proc create table statement, and here I have 3 rows and I have set unique constraint for this one. Now once I run this, I have created my empty table, and also I can insert these rows. You can see that the insert for the last row has been rejected, but all other rows are appended. Now I can quickly look into this data set and see what are the values it has. So even we can record what are these records which are not getting entered into your table. That's a little bit more advanced topic, but you can do lot more than what I'm showing in you here. Say if you have every day you are loading some records into your table, but they are getting rejected because you have a constraints, those rejected records also we can store it. I think it is known as audit logs or something like that. I'm not very sure, but that could be easily done. Now if you see here, we can see that we are not able to enter duplicate values. Now I want to talk one small topic, and then I am done for today's topic. So here I am creating a table. After the creating the table and your table having many records, we can add constraint after having the records also. It is not mandatory that we add constraints only after we create table without any data. With data also we can add constraint. Here I'm creating a doctor's info table, and then I'm altering the table. Means after the table has been created, I'm altering this table and adding the constraint, and here the constraint I'm adding is not null on the doctor variable. So we can add constraint on an existing table also. Let us quickly run this. And here you can see that I was able to alter the table, and it says that table has been altered. So now you may ask me, how do I know that this constraint has been added? That is simple. To see the definition of the table in proc SQL, all we need to use is describe statement, and here we need to say describe table, and we need to give table name. Now you will see that it will show that we have added a constraint. So here you can see that in the log that our table definition, and also in the results you see that a constraint is also there. Now I want to tell one last point, and then we will wrap up this topic. If you have any questions, I'm more than interested to discuss on this. Now here I have a table. This is existing table, and here I have a null. If my table already contains null, I can't add the constraint. Means your table already has a null value. You cannot add constraint not null on that. Now let us quickly run this and see how it goes. Let us change the table name to info1 info1. If you see here, my table has a missing value here. So if I add a constraint, it is not going to take it. So the bottom line, what I wanted to tell through whole of this is, you can protect your data. You can be proactive and you can put constraints on your table so that bad data does not enter. Now my constraint fails because I have one observation which has a missing value, and I can't apply a not null constraint by altering a table because it has already has missing value. Any questions on this? I don't know. I don't know how to see in the comments and all that, but if anybody has any comment, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Do you guys have any questions before we say bye for today? Okay, if you guys have no questions, then bye for today, and then let's meet sometime later. Bye, guys. Thank you very much for attending.